The following is an exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the National Football League. This week on the Panthers Huddle, Dave Canales and the crew break down the pivotal moments from a tough loss to the Chicago Bears and look ahead to our division rivalry game against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, welcome inside the Panthers Huddle.
Welcome inside the Panthers Huddle. Kristen Balboni, Thomas Davis, joined as always by head coach Dave Canales. Coach, thank you for taking the time.
Glad to be here.
All right, we are going to get into this week's Bojangles breakdown. We're going to talk about the game against the Bears. So, you were mic'd up earlier this season in the game against the Patriots, and we heard you say that one of the things you love the most about coaching is figuring everything out. Is when the problems come up, you love to work these things out and put some brain power to it. So, on the flight home from Chicago, what was first on your list in terms of figuring things out?
Yeah, just figuring out a third down. You know, we built 2 games back to back where we played complementary football. And what I mean by that is the more that the offense can convert third downs, nobody makes all of them, but you make half of them or more than half, gives you a chance to really be rhythmic offensively for all of our system to really show up so you can get a feel for what the defense is trying to do that day. We didn't give ourselves that opportunity. It was the explosive passes that kind of happened within the drives that really made the day what it was. And of course, just how can we emphasize more the importance of taking care of the ball? 17 points on turnovers. We had a failed 4th down at the end of the half with a lot of time left. Went for it there in that situation because we were down some. They turned that into a score. So 24 points really that we gave to the Bears by just not finishing our drives or giving up the ball. So some real things to focus on that'll put us into that situation from the 2 weeks prior to play really good complementary football.
Coach, I don't think you could have scripted the beginning of the game any better than you did. For us to go straight down the field, finish with Chuba in the end zone. What are some of the moments, though, when you look back at this game? What was that pivotal moment that you would identify if you had to really look back on it and say, this was the point in the game where they started to get the best of us and it kind of got away from us?
Yeah, TD, really going back to the turnovers, right? 2 turnovers, 14-point swing, and all of a sudden we're playing from behind. And in that situation there, for me, because of how much time was left in the game, let's just keep playing our football. Try to keep balancing it. Try to get a rhythm going offensively so that we can extend drives, you know, and that's the way that you kind of battle back into these games. But we dug ourselves a pretty good hole. We knew we were going to have to try to climb out of it. And then they got that big strike, a big screen at the end of the half after we failed the 4th down, kind of in a long field goal range, you know. And so it was really in that critical time, you know, that the ball really kind of defined the day.
TD, you mentioned Chuba and that first drive. He still had a great game, almost 100 yards on the ground. When you look at this offense, what were some of the other bright spots that you want to emphasize to the team? Yeah,
so again, just another day, 65% run efficiency. So whenever you're over 50% in your runs, that puts you into favorable third downs. We were 0 for 7 in third and manageable. That can't happen. That's on coaching, that's on players, that's all of us. We got to be better. We have been better in the last couple of weeks. That's fixable. That's something that we can attack right there, you know. And so I just, you know, I really think about those and some of the opportunities missed, you know, that could have made the game come out a little bit different.
Coach, on defense, we lost Jadeveon Clowney in this game, and it was very obvious in watching the game that he wasn't out there because there were so many times where it seemed like we would get to Caleb, but we could never really get him on the ground, and I feel like that was in large part due to Clowney not being on the field. What are some of the issues that you would say that we're having right now with our pass rush, and will we see DJ Wonnum anytime soon?
We hope so. You know, DJ's getting closer and closer to have his window open to return to play. So he's working really hard. He's working with our return to play specialists in the training room. So we're hopeful there. But in the meantime, TD, it's just finding rush any way we can, trying different combinations of guys, continuing to challenge the rooms of the interior defensive line, the edge players, to just see what combination gives us the best rushes. And like you said, believe it or not, we had some great rushes in this game, and Caleb Williams did a great job getting out of trouble, using his legs to run down, finding some answers down the field that really turned into some explosive plays and for the Bears to extend drives.
We talked last week about the opportunity for Trevin Wallace to step up with the injuries to Shaq Thompson and Josie Jewell. We saw he had 15 tackles in this game, but how do you assess the job that he did with that green dot on his helmet?
I thought he did a fantastic job handling the communication. You know, they threw some tempo at us, and he was able to get the calls in, you know, to get our guys lined up, you know, where they needed to be. And even having that responsibility, still played fast, still played physical all the way throughout. You know, we settled in the second half, you know, and started to stop the run, did a better job on third down even in the second half, you know, of giving us the ball back and giving us more opportunities. And so Trevin was right at the heart and center of that whole thing happening as the guys just continue to play football regardless of what the score was.
Lastly, I want to ask you about these quarterbacks. So it was the third week of Andy Dalton starting, and then we also saw Bryce Young come in at the end. How do you grade out both of their performances?
Yeah, so I thought it was not a great day throwing and catching for us offensively. Things that we certainly needed to continue those drives, you know. But again, kind of found a rhythm and found some good completions there at the end of the half. And then going into the second half, we started to find a little bit of a rhythm. Because of the score, a great opportunity to get Bryce back out there, the things that he's been working so hard, you know, just continuing to, you know, develop his game, continue to work in practice, and an opportunity for him to get back out there, and did a great job putting together a drive. Jalen Coker, talking about the positives that came out of the game, watching a young guy who's been working for opportunities. The ball found him. He caught it. He made people miss. He made extra yards after the catch. Something they certainly showed us as coaches, that we can trust him and we can continue to increase his role as we go forward.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch him. All right, Coach is going to stick around with us, and we're going to be talking about the Atlanta Falcons when we come back.
Coming up, Coach Canales looks to focus on our next opponent as Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons prepare to head into Charlotte on the Panthers Huddle. This exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers Television Network is brought to you in part by Bank of America, the official bank of the Carolina Panthers.
Back here on the Huddle, and Coach, we said we were going to talk about the Falcons, this upcoming matchup on Sunday. I mean, I think it all starts with Kirk Cousins, right? We saw him throw for over 500 yards in that last game. What makes him so difficult for defenses?
Well, he's just dialed in. You know, he's a very detailed passer. He watches, I'm sure he watches a lot of film. He knows what the coverage looks like, where the voids are at, you know, and he executes. You know, he's an accurate player. He plays on time. And that always gives him a chance to be successful, you know. And then you just, on top of that, you just talk about all the players that he has around him, you know. Drake London, you know, he's got two fantastic backs in the backfield, you know, Pitts at tight end, Kadero Hodge, who's made some fantastic plays over the last couple of games and all that. So he's got some people to throw to, and they got a run game to match it up. So a really good offense.
Coach, so you talked about their offense. As I sit back and I watch this defense, though, one of the guys that stands out to me is Jesse Bates. You know, he's a ball hawk. He's a guy that you got to know where he is at all times, or he's going to come away with the football. Who are some of the guys that you've identified defensively that we have to absolutely know where they are at all times?
Yeah, Justin Simmons, another fantastic veteran player, you know, who's been in the system. You talk about A.J. Terrell, just a fantastic corner who I got to see a couple times last year, who really looks for his opportunities to make plays as well. And I just think, and in general, as a defense, they take a lot of pride in showing up in those short completions in the run game with full effort to team tackle. You know, that's something that I always look for from a group, is how do they play together, and it means a lot to them. And you can see the effort all across the board.
I want to talk to you about Austin Corbett, huge loss for the Panthers, and also we think that Taylor Moton will end his streak of 104 games, not starting.
Unbelievable. I
know. It's amazing, and of course we are going to miss him out there. With the replacements coming in, do you scheme differently? How do you approach having two new guys on that line?
You know, it's just our system, and so we just have to be really clear about what we're doing, continue to build off of the things that we've been running so that we have continuity everywhere else. And for those guys to just come in and do their part, for Yash, for Brady to come in and just do their part. But we have to just continue to keep stacking games within our system from a run game and a pass game standpoint and the screen game, so that we have that continuity, the communication and the connection from that whole front across the board.
Coach, I think I already know the answer to this question, but I'm pretty sure our fan base is going to want to know, what are some of the aspects of this offense that you're looking to improve on this week?
Yeah, certainly getting back to our third down efficiency, which we had the 2 weeks prior. We got to continue to return to that so we can see our run game more. The run game was going to be a fantastic part of this last game. Again, we get put in a different situation where you got to mix it a little bit, and at a certain point you got to go. You got to start throwing it and try to make some yardage up and all that. Would certainly love to see that be the big thing. And then, of course, right back to the ball. We talked about it earlier, hitting it again. Nothing more important than us on the offensive side taking ownership of that ball every time you touch it, whether you're the quarterback, the decision making, whether you're a receiver, running back, tight end, whoever that is, that we finish the play with the ball so we can continue to play our style.
The same question for the defense. What are you preaching to those guys that has to happen in this game against the Falcons?
Yeah, just the communication. Just continue to grow with working together, passing things off in the pass game as they start playing their leverage and talking across the board. In the run game, just trusting everybody, fitting your gap, knowing that if you do your job and everybody does, there's really nowhere to go if you can play that kind of team football. So as we continue to have these different combinations of players playing together, a new group has to kind of formulate a personality and identity and to get really comfortable. And that only happens in practice. And that's why it's so important for us to get right back to the drawing board, right back to work tomorrow.
Coach, one of the most consistent groups, and not only on this football team, but in all of the NFL, when you look at the way that PFF grades the offensive linemen, that has been one of our strengths over the course of this season. And we're sitting here, we're talking about losing Austin, we're talking about losing Taylor Moton. But what's the message to the guys that are going to have to step up right now, and not only stepping in, but maintaining that level of consistency that we've had over the course of this season from the offensive line?
That's the challenge, and I think the first thing I would like to say is the guys that we're talking about that have gotten injured, they're playing the game right. They're playing with everything they got. There's nothing more a head coach can ask for than a team that's willing to put everything on the line because it means something to them. Those guys who have been pushing themselves through things, little things. TD as a player.
Oh, yeah.
You always got to find a way to make yourself available. And I get to point to guys like Timo, 104 games you said?
Yep.
That's incredible. Knowing that he had things this whole time, that he was able to find himself, to make himself available during the week and make himself available on Sunday for his teammates. That's something that I can point to the younger guys to say, look how these guys respect each other and respect themselves so much to find a way. We'll take whatever you can give us in the week, everything you got on Sunday. And I can point to those guys.
We are looking forward to seeing those guys step up. Coach, thank you as always for the time. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Thanks, TD.
Icky, the guy next to you, has never missed a game in this league, and Dave told us today that probably is out this week. What does that mean, and what does that streak that he put together mean?
I mean, obviously, very impressive streak. Obviously, he's been through a lot of things, played banged up, for his team. So obviously, that's something we appreciate. And sometimes you just can't do it. And so, wishing him a speedy recovery, everything like that. And I'm sure he's going to work as hard as he can to get back out there for us.
So, yeah, all those guys have been going down, man. I feel for them because, like you said, I know how I feel. And, at the end of the day, all we want to do is competitors play football. So, I'm praying for them, and, I know they'll come back 10 times stronger. And it's tough. Austin, a real headstrong dude, though. He always has a good vibe about him. Even when he was going through his injuries, he was the same guy every day, didn't let it weigh him down. But, I'd be sure to talk to him and give him good wishes, and I know he'll come back stronger.
This is how NFL football works, It's unfortunately sometimes you go through it. You have some guys that get banged up and have some new guys in there. But, for us, it's building the team. And I think that's everything that he's saying. If we do what we know that we can do, good things will happen. And so just stay the course and keep focused on things that we can control.
Up next, TD takes us into his film room as he breaks down footage of the Falcons playmakers on the Panthers Huddle. Closed captioning for the Panthers Television Network is provided by Charlotte Eye, Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates. providing premier eye and ENT care to North and South Carolina.
All right, now we are inside TD's film room. TD, we are going to start with a play from the Panthers. Chuba Hubbard's getting things kicked off early in this game.
This play got me so excited watching this game. This is what you want to see as a coach. On this play right here, you'll get to see Chuba Hubbard get the ball and virtually go untouched because the offensive line does such an amazing job. And Chuba just does his job of outrunning everybody to the end zone. Austin Corbett, he's going to pull on this play, and he's going to pick off this defender, creating a lane that Chuba has no choice but to hit his head on the goalpost. These are the kind of plays that this offense is capable of. We just have to do this way more consistently, KB.
I want to ask you about that, though. Austin Corbett out for the season with the biceps injury. We just saw how good he was right there. We know that he is one of the centers with the lowest pressure rate in the NFL. How tough is it going to be to replace him?
You know, it's going to be extremely tough to place your center, a guy that's that's literally the nucleus of everything that you do. He is a big portion of why this offensive line was playing so well. So we're going to have that next man up mentality like we've had every single week. We've had guys go down, and we've had to have somebody step up, and it's going to be no different. But these are going to be some huge shoes that we're going to have to fill, and losing Austin Corbett like you talked about, but also losing Taylor Moton over there on the right side of the offensive line.
All right, well, we know the Falcons are coming into Bank of America Stadium. They were wheeling and dealing in prime time last week. We saw a lot of touchdowns, frankly, in that game. TD, you were going to start us off with one from Drake London.
This Falcons team has really been the comeback kids.
Yeah.
In their last two games, they've been down, but they have been resilient. They found ways to win, and this is one of the plays that you cannot allow to happen to you. Right here, we have Drake London lined up in man on line of scrimmage. Now he's the slot player. You cannot allow him to have this much space and be this wide open because he's their number one target. He's their go-to guy. That's who Kirk Cousins is going to look for every single time he drops back. But especially if you leave him this wide open, really big target, physical guys you see right there, absolutely capable of beating you if you leave him that wide open.
Another weapon that the Falcons have on offense, Bijan Robinson.
Yes.
Got a play of his right here, too.
Bijan Robinson is a very special kid. He hasn't had very much production over the course of this season, but he's a player that's due to break out at any moment. So you got to understand where he's at. And right here, you'll get to see how special this kid is. Watch this move. Look at it. He literally made a man miss that had him lined up and dead to rights, but he figured out a way to make a subtle movement to escape that tackle. That's what he's capable of, and we know that we've had some struggles with missed tackles. So we're going to have to bring our feet when we get ready to tackle a guy like Bijan Robinson, because if you don't, he will end up in your end zone.
Absolutely. All right, well, you mentioned they were the comeback kids. So speaking of the comeback, you've got the last touchdown of the game, that one that put the Falcons over the top.
Yes, this is the play that sealed the deal for the Atlanta Falcons in overtime. It was a walk-off touchdown. We just talked about Drake London. He actually suffered an injury on the play prior to this, and they brought in their reserve, Hodges. He comes in. Kirk Cousins, no hesitation, goes right to this kid. He was covered, but what does he do? He takes the ball and outruns the entire Tampa defense to the end zone. And what this showed me is Kirk Cousins has a ton of confidence in all of his receivers. He threw for 509 yards, and he got the ball to so many different guys. So when we get ready to face this Atlanta Falcons team, we are going to face a complete team, a complete offense, and we have to make sure that we're locked in on all of these guys throughout the course of this game.
All right, well said, TD. Thank you so much.
When we return, TD will give us his 3 keys to victory over the Falcons on the Panthers Huddle.
Okay, TD, it is that time of the show. It is time for your Coke 3 keys to the game against the Falcons.
Yes, KB, my 3 keys to this game, it starts with something that has shown up 2 weeks in a row. We have to get these things fixed. We got to do a better job of tackling and catching the football. We had too many inconsistent moments in the past 2 weeks that have ultimately cost us the football game. When you look at the way we've tackled against Cincinnati and now the way that we tackled against the Chicago Bears, it has been problematic for us. And the way that we've inconsistently managed to catch the football has been another issue. So key number 3, we have to get that fixed. My number 2 key for this football game, we have to limit the production for this Atlanta offense. They have proven time and time again that they are capable of putting up some big numbers. In particular, Kirk Cousins is getting more and more comfortable as the week goes on, and he's producing this ball to so many different guys and getting it into their hands and allowing them to make plays. So we have to limit that production. And my number 1 key for this week, KB, is a division game. It's right here at home. We have to make sure that we understand the magnitude of a division game. We know that they count twice, and we know that we're playing right here in the Bank of America Stadium, so we gotta defend our dirt. Those are my 3 keys to this football game. We gotta get it done.
All right, we will see what happens on Sunday, but that is all the time we have for this week's show. On behalf of Thomas Davis and head coach Dave Canales, I'm Kristen Balboni. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you next week. And TD?
Keep pounding.
You've been watching the Panthers Huddle, a copyrighted presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL.